The cold bit through Lucas's thin jacket as he crouched behind the chain-link fence of Lincoln Community Center. His stomach ached, gnawing at him like a relentless drum. The smell of school lunches drifted over the fence, and he could barely stand it. He had gone a whole day without a proper meal. His hands shook as he watched kids filing out, backpacks bouncing, laughter ringing in the crisp air. Then he saw her, Naomi Carter, tall for her 18 years, with her hair tucked under a hood and a determined glint in her eyes. She carried a lunch tray, and when her gaze landed on him, she froze for a split second, like the world slowed down. "Hey, you," she said softly, stepping closer. Lucas swallowed hard. Hi." His voice cracked. He wasn't used to anyone looking at him kindly. "You look hungry," Naomi said, sitting down on the curb and holding out a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a juice box. "Take it. Eat." Lucas hesitated, embarrassed. "I can't, you shouldn't." "Don't argue," she interrupted, a small smile tugging at her lips. "I want to." He blinked. No lectures, no conditions, just a hand extended with food. He grabbed the sandwich, hands trembling, tears pricking the corners of his eyes. "Thank you," he whispered, voice barely audible. For 6 months, it became routine. Every day, Naomi found him, and every day, she shared a meal. She never asked about his past. She didn't pity him. She just gave. And Lucas, in those moments, felt a warmth he hadn't known in years. One chilly morning, as she tied a red ribbon around her wrist, Lucas caught her hand. Why do you keep doing this?" Naomi looked at him, eyes fierce and soft all at once. "My grandma says we always share what we got. You need it more than I do right now. That's all." Lucas stared at the ribbon. "Can I keep half of it?" Naomi nodded and cut a small piece, tied around his wrist. "A promise," she said. "If we ever lose each other, you'll find me again. Promise me." "I promise," Lucas said, gripping the ribbon. In that instant, something clicked deep inside him, a vow he didn't fully understand yet. But life wasn't done testing him. Lucas's world crumbled shortly after that. Homelessness, rejection from foster homes, and nights spent under streetlights hardened him. Yet, in the back of his mind, that red ribbon, that sandwich, that girl with fierce eyes, kept him alive. "Why do you even care?" One of his friends in the shelter asked one night, noticing him staring at the ribbon tied around his wrist. Because she believed in me when no one else did," Lucas muttered, voice thick with something he didn't want to name. "She made me think maybe I can matter. Maybe my life can be more than this." Years passed. Lucas clawed his way up, scraping through odd jobs, school nights under flickering lights, sacrificing comfort, relationships, even sleep. Each paycheck was a step closer to stability, each decision fueled by a memory that refused to fade. He became a successful entrepreneur by 24, but success was hollow, without the one person who had lit the spark. Meanwhile, Naomi had her own battles. She worked 2 jobs while finishing school, always looking out for younger neighbors and friends who were struggling. Her heart stayed big, her resolve unshaken, yet she wondered sometimes if the boy behind the fence had survived at all. Lucas bought properties in Chicago, strategically near where she lived, every brick and streetlight a silent hope that she was still out there. Every corner cafe, every park, every school he checked, always chasing the faintest echo of her laughter, the flash of a red ribbon in the crowd. One rainy evening, he finally muttered to himself, hands pressed against a fogged-up window of his downtown office. "I will find her. I have to." A week later, Lucas stood in a crowded community meeting, papers and blueprints in his hands, ready to propose a redevelopment project for affordable housing. He scanned the room, tension coiling in his chest. Then she walked in, Naomi Carter. Her eyes locked onto his, and for a heartbeat, time froze. "You," she said, incredulous, crossing her arms. "What are you doing here?" Lucas swallowed hard, voice steady but heart-hammering. "I could ask you the same thing. I'm here for the community to make a difference." Naomi's gaze narrowed. "Do you even care about the people here, or is this just another project to boost your portfolio?" Lucas hesitated, then pulled up his sleeve, revealing the red ribbon tied around his wrist. I care, he said simply. I care because of you. I've been looking for you for years, Naomi. This ribbon, this was yours. You tied it on me when I had nothing. I never forgot. Naomi froze, her eyes widening as recognition hit. Lucas? Her voice broke, barely a whisper. He nodded. Lucas Bennett. Do you remember the sandwiches? The ribbon? You saved me, Naomi. Tears pricked at her eyes. You survived. I survived because of you. And now, maybe we can do something bigger. Together. At that moment, the room felt electric. Community members leaned forward, sensing the weight of the reunion. Lucas stepped closer. I don't want anyone else to go through what we went through. Let's change that. Let's make sure nobody's left behind. Naomi nodded, overwhelmed but resolute. Yes, let's do it. But only if you're serious. I've never been more serious in my life. And just like that, the seeds of what will become the Red Ribbon Initiative were planted. Lucas later recounted to a friend, chuckling through tears. I spent years chasing her through the city like a fool. I didn't care about money, success, nothing, just finding her. And then, boom, there she was. Naomi laughed softly, shaking her head. You're impossible, Lucas Bennett. But thank God you never gave up. The tension, the heartbreak, the years of searching, they all converge into a single heartbeat, binding them in their mission together. If you're enjoying the story so far, hit that subscribe button and like the video to keep following Naomi and Lucas' journey. Don't forget to comment below. Who in your life reminds you of Naomi or Lucas? Share your thoughts. Lucas could hardly breathe as Naomi stood in front of him, her arms crossed, the memory of that fence, the sandwiches, and the red ribbon flashing between them. The community meeting buzzed with murmurs, chairs scraping on the floor, but all he could hear was her voice. You want to help the community? Naomi asked, voice sharp but not unkind. Or is this just a show for the cameras and the investors? Lucas swallowed. I get it. You've seen a lot of people come in and make promises they don't keep. I'm not like them. I know I disappeared for years, but everything I've done since then, it's led me here, to you, to this community. Naomi's eyes searched his face. Prove it. Tell me why I should trust you. Why I should believe that you actually care about the kids, about the ones who don't have anyone. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small notebook, worn at the edges. I've been keeping track. The streets I've walked, the shelters I've checked, the schools I've visited, all in hopes of finding you. And when I thought maybe I'd never see you again, I started helping anyway. Quietly, no fanfare. But I couldn't forget, and I never will. Her gaze softened, but only slightly. Lucas, you're intense. I'm intense because I care, he said, voice low but firm. You made me feel seen when I was nothing, and I want to make sure no one else feels that way. Naomi studied him for a moment, then, almost reluctantly, nodded. All right, show me. Show me you mean it. And I'll help. But this isn't about you anymore, it's about the kids. A murmur of approval rippled through the room. Lucas felt a rush of relief, but also pressure. The real work was just beginning. Weeks passed in a blur. Lucas threw himself into planning, budgeting, and organizing. Naomi took the lead on understanding the needs of the youth, housing, education, job training, mental health support. Every day, their shared history fueled their drive. Every time Naomi brought a new problem to light, Lucas saw the pain in her eyes and remembered the boy behind the fence, shivering and hungry, hoping for just one act of kindness. One afternoon, Naomi walked into Lucas's office, exhausted from a meeting with local schools. These kids, they're amazing, Lucas. But so many of them have been let down. I want to make sure we get it right. Every detail, every promise matters. Lucas looked up from the floor-to-ceiling blueprints. I know, and that's why I've got you leading this. You lived it. You understand them better than anyone else could. Naomi shook her head, smiling wryly. Don't get all sentimental on me. I'm still keeping you on a tight leash. He grinned. Fair enough. But remember, I'll never give up. Not on you, not on this, not on them. As the Red Ribbon Initiative began taking shape, Lucas and Naomi faced obstacles they hadn't anticipated. Securing funding, negotiating with city officials, and gaining the trust of the youth was harder than they imagined. Some doubted Lucas's motives, whispering that he only cared about appearances. Others were skeptical of Naomi's leadership. Could someone who had lived in hardship actually run a program of this scale? Lucas learned to sit through the tension without losing his focus. "You don't have to like me," he whispered to Naomi one evening as they stayed late at the office. "But you have to trust me, and I'll earn it every single day." Naomi looked up, eyes bright with unshed tears. "I do trust you. I just don't want anyone else to get hurt because of mistakes we make." "You won't," Lucas said firmly. "We'll figure out together." The first youth moved into transitional housing under the program 3 months after their reunion. Lucas watched from a distance as Naomi gave a tour, explaining the opportunities available, the support, the structure. He noticed the way she spoke, firm but caring, every word intentional. A boy of 17 lingered by the door, glancing nervously at Lucas. Naomi noticed and without hesitation pulled him aside. "Hey," she said gently, crouching to his level. "You're safe here. I know it's scary, but you've got people who care about you. And this is just the beginning." Lucas felt a lump in his throat. That was the moment he realized this wasn't just about finding Naomi. It was about changing lives. Every smile, every hesitant laugh, every sign of hope, that was a real reward. By the 6th month, the program had served 127 youth. Retention rates were high. Education and job placement numbers exceeded expectations. Lucas and Naomi's partnership was stronger than ever. And somewhere in the background, the red ribbon hung in both their offices, a symbol of the journey that had brought them here. One evening, as they were locking up the center, Lucas paused and looked at Naomi. "Do you remember the first sandwich you gave me?" She smiled, nodding. "How could I forget? I promised myself I'd find you, no matter what," he said, voice low, eyes fixed on hers. "And I did. But what we're doing now, it's bigger than us. It's everything we dreamed of back then, maybe even more." Naomi reached out, touching the ribbon tied to his wrist. "We made a promise, Lucas. And look at us now." He smiled softly, taking her hand in his. "Yeah, we did." The momentum continued. Media coverage of the initiative spread, inspiring other cities to adopt the model. Requests poured in from across the country. Lucas and Naomi worked tirelessly, knowing that each success represented lives being saved, futures being rewritten. During one planning session, Naomi looked up from a stack of program applications. "Lucas, do you ever think about how it all started?" "All the time," he admitted. "That red ribbon, those sandwiches. If you hadn't sat down and shared your lunch with a scared, starving kid, none of this would exist. I wouldn't be standing here, and none of these kids would have a chance of hope." Naomi's eyes glistened. "It's amazing what one small act can do. We should tell everyone, make them realize that even tiny kindnesses matter." Lucas grinned. "Then let's keep doing it, and let's inspire others to do the same." As they stood together, overlooking the youth engaging in training and study programs, Lucas whispered, "You know, one day I'm going to make a bigger promise, one that matters even more than a ribbon." Naomi tilted her head, curious. "Oh, yeah? What's that?" "You'll see," he said with a teasing smile. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button if Naomi and Lucas' journey is keeping you inspired. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever experienced someone's small act of kindness changing your life? The gala was alive with music, chatter, and the warm glow of string lights. Youth from the Red Ribbon Initiative mingled with supporters, staff, and community members. Lucas scanned the room, feeling the weight of everything that had led to this night. The hunger, the nights under streetlights, the relentless search, the doubts, and finally, Naomi's unwavering trust. Naomi stood nearby, giving instructions to a group of new volunteers. Her energy was magnetic, her smile contagious. Lucas felt a lump in his throat. He approached her carefully, clearing his throat. "Naomi," he said softly. She turned, eyebrows raised. "Lucas, everything okay?" He nodded, then reached into his pocket, pulling out a small velvet box. The music dimmed slightly as he got down on one knee, right in front of the program's first cohort of youth. "I promised you a long time ago that I would find you," he began, voice steady but filled with emotion. "I promised I would take care of you, and I promised that one day I would make sure the world knew what your kindness meant. Naomi Carter, will you marry me?" Gasps filled the room. Naomi's hand flew to her mouth, tears welling in her eyes. "Lucas, Say yes," Lucas whispered, hope trembling in his voice. "We've come full circle. From a sandwich and a ribbon to this moment. I want our story to be more than just ours. I want it to inspire others. Will you be my partner in life and in changing the world?" Naomi nodded, sobbing softly. "Yes, Lucas. Yes." The crowd erupted in cheers. Youth hugged one another, clapped, and some even jumped up in excitement. Lucas slipped the ring onto her finger, and they embraced, the red ribbon from their youth tied around both their wrists as a symbol of their journey. In the weeks that followed, the Red Ribbon Initiative expanded even further. Programs in other cities adopted their model, using Naomi's insight and Lucas's funding to create a blueprint for success. Youth in 34 cities were now receiving transitional housing, education, job training, mental health services, and legal aid. Retention rates were high, academic achievements were climbing, and homelessness among program participants dropped dramatically. One afternoon, as Lucas walked through a housing complex they had recently developed, a young woman approached him, holding a red ribbon she had tied to her backpack. "Sir, thank you," she said, her voice trembling. "You didn't just help me, you saved me." Lucas felt a tear slip down his cheek. He looked around at the young people studying, laughing, and helping one another. "No," he said softly, turning to Naomi, who was beside him. "She's right. We didn't save them. Naomi did. You did this." Naomi shook her head, smiling through tears. "We did this together. And this is only the beginning." 2 years after their reunion, Lucas and Naomi stood once more in front of Lincoln Community Center, the site of their first meeting. The same red ribbon waved in the breeze, tied around a newly planted tree, symbolizing hope, resilience, and the power of small acts. "I can't believe how far we've come," Naomi whispered. Lucas took her hand, eyes scanning the bustling activity around them. From a sandwich to thousands of lives changed, all because someone cared enough to act. That's the lesson. That's the power of kindness. As the camera of the documentary crew panned over the scene, youth smiling, staff guiding them, red ribbons everywhere. Lucas turned to Naomi. "Imagine what could happen if everyone shared just a little of what they have. If just one act of kindness sparked a movement." Naomi smiled, pressing her forehead to his. "We don't have to imagine. We're living it." And in that moment, Lucas and Naomi knew their journey was bigger than love alone. It was about hope, perseverance, and the ripple effect of compassion. If this story inspired you, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment sharing who in your life reminds you of Naomi or Lucas. Let's keep spreading kindness and hope, because one small act can change a life, maybe even the world. As the sun set over Chicago, the red ribbons glowed in the light, each one a testament to a promise kept, a life transformed, and a community empowered. And somewhere in every ribbon, the memory of a shared sandwich, a quiet act of kindness, and the unwavering courage to find each other lived on, touching hearts far beyond Lincoln Community Center.